So even though people have co-slept before, now we're in a world where we do better when we know better. And so knowing better is that babies should have their own sleep surface. You can have the baby in your room, share the room, but not the bed, to lessen the chances of baby suffocating or even being rolled over on.
It's okay to put your baby down if you are overwhelmed. Being a new mom is a lot, and you're gonna have those moments where you are severely overwhelmed because you're a new mom and taking care of a baby is a lot. So it's okay if you need a moment to just breathe, to decompress, set your baby down, take a few moments to yourself, listen to music, talk to yourself if you need to, but take those moments and that time to yourself to really deal with your overwhelm.
As you go through it, you learn and it gets better. Like you realize, oh, I learned that this works for me in this way, or he seems to respond better to this. And I think just as much as it is a learning curve for me, it's been a learning curve for like my husband and for significant others, you know. He doesn't know what I need unless I tell him, or I express that. So I was getting really frustrated for a long time, expecting that he knew what I needed, or that why wasn't he doing X, Y, and Z, but he's never been a new mom. He's never been a dad, you know, and I think that's a real thing. Like you have to ask for help or people don't know what you need, you know?
When I had my babies, nobody was talking about safe sleep. They slept wherever they landed, in the bed with us, and in the crib, in a chair. But here's the thing, co-sleeping is dangerous. It's actually one of the leading causes of SIDS. Now, I know you're going to hear about this mom who co-slept and this grandma who co-slept, but the data is clear. There is no amount of sleep that's worth the risk.
Every mom has a plan for that epic blowout. You've got diapers and wipes and extra change of clothes in that diaper bag. And just like you need a plan for that blowout, you need a safe sleep plan for when it's 4 a.m. and your baby's up again and you're delirious from being exhausted. How are you going to stay awake so that your baby gets back to sleep safely in their crib or pack and play? Set an alarm for when baby is ready to be fed, or text that friend that's always up. Have Netflix or a podcast or even a game ready to go. Whatever it takes and whatever works for you. Just make sure you plan before you need it. You've got this.
Honestly, mentally, it's really hard having a baby up at all times of the night, and you feel like it's never ending because it's day in and day out, and sometimes the days even run together. But yeah, just take care of yourself whenever you can, even if it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Just give yourself that break, give yourself that relaxation time, and give yourself some grace.
Hello, welcome to the spring edition of Cribs for Kids 2026 Safe Sleep Champions quarterly webinar and our first Wear Your PJs to Work Day. My name is Devin George. I'm the program officer here at Cribs for Kids, wearing my PJs, and join my colleagues who are doing the same. Andrea Wilson, Shayla Grady, and Kelly James, all running the show behind on the other side of the camera. So some quick housekeeping. If you are joining live, your mic is muted, your camera is off. Chat and Q&A are both available. Chat is for messages to our staff and tech issues. Q&A is for questions for our guests. In the interest of time, we just plain old don't answer questions during the live webinar. Instead, we ask that you submit your questions using the Q&A feature. So at the end of the hour, we send all those questions to our guests and to our staff, if need be, for responses. Then about a week later, we email everyone's questions with answers to all those registered for the webinar. So everyone gets to read everyone's questions and hear the answers, kind of like doing it live. Everybody gets to hear and know. The email that you get with those also includes the link to watch the recording of this webinar on our YouTube channel. That's one email with the questions, answers, and video link. And then you can share that with everyone. Because while all of our Safe Sleep Champion webinars are live, which you'll see in a second as I trip on my words, we record them and upload them to our YouTube channel and video library. And after today's session, there's going to be 19 Safe Sleep Champion webinars to watch on demand. So go ahead, why not cancel a streaming service, catch up with our champion guests. There is unbelievably great information out there. We are so excited to add this PJ webinar to our library. Real Talk with Real Moms with Maura Hanke of Charlie's Kids and Dani Morin, child safety advocate and content creator, sharing safety tips on social media. Fair warning, We're all very talkative, and we have a lot to talk about with both Maura and Dani. So we may go a little over our typical hour if need be, but I just want to give you a fair warning on that. But before we talk with them, let me share what's happening with Cribs for Kids. Oh, look, I meant to look. See, see how you know it's live? Here's Maura, and here's Dani. Today's PJs for Safe Sleep marks the beginning of Cribs for Kids' annual tradition, using one simple, visible action to promote life-saving education, encouraging communities across the country to join the conversation about safe sleep. It aligns with National Wear Your PJs to Work Day, so we hope our PJs for Safe Sleep becomes a real national day of awareness, sparking conversations about infant safe sleep. Pajamas are associated with rest and bedtime routines, so this day is a great way to remind everybody that how and where baby sleeps matters. By wearing your PJs to work, school, running errands, you shine a light and spark a conversation on evidence-based infant sleep practices to prevent suffocation and reduce SIDS. So if you're wearing your PJs, now's a chance to check that chat use. So click on chat and give us a thumbs up. We would also love some photos, so you can send those photos of you in your PJs to info@cribsforkids.org, or if you're feeling brave, go ahead and post those on social media, being sure to tag @CribsForKids and hashtag PJs for Safe Sleep. And I got to tell you, look, I have a little handwritten note we're keeping track. We are so excited about who we're hearing that is participating in this. Just this morning, we know that the Spokane Regional Health District in Washington State, Taney County Health Department in Missouri, Bridges to Wellness in Muskegon County, and Licking County Health Department, both in Ohio, Jasper County Health Department in Indiana, Golisano Children's Hospital of Southwest Florida, which posted the most adorable night before video last night, the Healthy Start Coalition of Hillsborough in Florida, Southwest Louisiana Safe Sleep Task Force, the Goddard schools in the Cleveland area, so there's several of those, the Baby Safety Alliance and Baby Safety Foundation, Dolly Parton Children's Hospital in Tennessee, their whole staff is participating. They had a great sticker on that said, ask me about wearing PJs. So please keep them coming. We are so excited. And we want to be sure that we have you in our inaugural class of first time for first PJ, wear your PJs to work day for PJs for safe sleep. So look, I'm going to get rid of that piece of paper now. One less thing. So PJs Day isn't the only thing that's new at Cribs for Kids. We have 2 new education resources in our partner catalog and our partner resource portal. So that means you can order them from our catalog or download them for local printing in our portal. First is our grandparent brochure. Let me show you that here. It's super simple content that speaks to recommendations that might be different from a couple of decades ago, or just several years ago, like no blankets except for swaddling and tummy time, no side sleeping, no bumper pads, that kind of thing. And it also includes our 12 steps for 12 months and links grandparents to our Safe Sleep Academy for the latest information. And the next is our impairment brochure. I'm going to hold that up here. Da, 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 da. So this piece outlined what leads to impairment, its impact on judgment, and that in turn can lead to unsafe sleep care. So impairment includes, from exhaustion, over-the-counter prescribed meds, drinking, other substance use, and how to make a safe sleep plan when you're managing those risks. It's a great companion piece to the series of 4 videos that we released in January about impairment and managing that. Now, I could fill the whole hour with what we have new happening here, but we can't, you don't want to do that. We need to hear to Dani. We need to talk to Dani and Maura and all of our safe sleep champions. So starting in May, Cribs for Kids is adding a What's New Wednesday feature on social media. So instead of waiting for our monthly e-newsletters, which I hope you get via email, or our quarterly Safe Sleep Champion webinars, we're going to hop on social media and share our new programs, products, resources from Cribs for Kids, or anything new that's out there who's supporting our shared safe sleep mission, giving us a great way to feature what other people are doing. And we're going to do that in just a few minutes on social media. Our first What's New Wednesday will be on May 6th. We'll tell you all about the newest module in our professional training series, this one for nurses. Yay! The nursing module is going to be available May 1st on a professional training series page, but we'll tell you more about that on our first What's New Wednesday on May 6th. So go ahead and give us a follow at Cribs for Kids on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. Makes it all super easy to share as well. Now, if you do follow us already, you know about the Barbara Clemens Emergency Relief Fund. On April 17th, 2020, 6 years ago tomorrow, Cribs for Kids lost our cherished team member to COVID-19. Barb Clemens, our Director of Product and Development for 14 years, was a passionate advocate for babies every day, but particularly in times of crisis. Barb was instrumental in responding to emergency relief efforts, ensuring that infants in areas impacted by disasters had a safe place to sleep. So from flooding in Louisiana back in 2016 to Hurricane Harvey in Houston and loads of other emergency needs, Barb coordinated the packing, shipping, and delivery to first responders in those serving those communities. The Barbara Clemens Emergency Relief Fund honors her legacy, seated with an annual donation from Corbex International and supported by additional donations from our supporters. The fund is available for communities facing unexpected needs of crevettes and infant items. We received further funding in tribute to our founder and CEO's recently passed and much beloved Dick Bannon. Judy is overwhelmed by the generosity of so many making donations in her husband's memory. Thank you. To learn more, you're going to visit our website and click on the donations dropdown. With the coming May to October dangerous climate season, if your community is faced with a natural disaster or other emergency, just email info@cribsforkids.org to request assistance through the Barbara Clemens Emergency Relief Fund. Next is our national conference coming to Pittsburgh from September 29th to October 3rd. After 2 virtual conferences, we are so excited to be back in person. I know I seem to be excited about a lot of things, but I'm really excited. PJs, it's all exciting. This is the first time we're going to be back in person since 2019. Abstract submission is open with a May 1st deadline, and early bird registration is open too. The conference theme, as you see here, is rooted in evidence branching into action. So if you're working on a safe sleep project that reaches into your community, or maybe you've taken new steps to promote safe sleep, maybe developed a tool or a resource, or maybe you're researching how to understand SUID, go ahead and submit an abstract and share your work, please. Even if you presented at an earlier conference, we welcome abstracts that might update us on the work that you've done. Everyone likes to hear how things have progressed and what you've learned. If you're not submitting an abstract, you're going to want to get our conference on your calendar and in your budget. We have some amazing people stepping up to the podium, like 2-time Safe Sleep champion guests, Doctors Kyron Quillen and Gina Lowell are going to be here in Pittsburgh with us, and we are over the moon to welcome Consumer Reports investigative reporter Lauren Kirshner. She wrote that great article last year about infant safe sleep and the dangers of online misinformation. She's going to be in Pittsburgh with us. And if you are online using social media, you may be familiar with the fabulous Jen Hamilton. With over 6 million followers across social platforms, Jen is a one-of-a-kind voice when it comes to nursing and caring for families and swaddling chickens. If you know her, you know how unbelievably pumped we are that she will be on stage at our conference. An L&D nurse who started in the ED, she definitely uses social media to generate meaningful conversations and affect change. She has a lot to offer the Safe Sleep community, and we are here for it, and we hope you will be too. You can learn more about Jen Hamilton, her new book, Birth Vibes, that comes out on May 1st, I believe, and other conference happenings on our Cribs for Kids social accounts and our e-newsletters. Did you hear me? Jen Hamilton. If you don't already follow her, please do give her a follow and you will fall in love. I promise. Okay, new education resources, our emergency fund, What's New Wednesdays, our conference, which is this fall, but right now we get to speak with 2 amazing Safe Sleep champion moms for the rest of the hour. So join me in welcoming Maura Hanke of Charlie's Kids and Dani Morin, child safety advocate and content creator. While they are both doing crazy great work, and Dani and Jen are actually friends, it's incredibly moving that the work they each do stems from grief. Both moms lost sons, Charlie and Deacon, Charlie to accidental suffocation, and Deacon to an amber teething necklace. I am, like all of you, I am sure, moved beyond words when lost parents bravely use their grief in memory of their baby to make the world better. And they are doing just that. Both Charlie and Deacon's moms have lots to share with us, so we're going to skip long introductions and point you to their websites to learn more about them. Okay, hey Maura, hey Dani. First, we're going to chat with Maura, and it is always lovely to see you, even in 2D. Really appreciate you taking time to talk with us. For those who joined us right at noon, they saw a few of the Mom to Mom Pep Talk videos that are part of Charlie's Kids' newest resource. I got goose pimply watching them. I just love hearing these moms talk so frankly and so honestly about these challenges and struggles. but that's part of your newest resources, and we'll get to those. So how about if you just take a minute, or a few minutes actually, and bring everyone up to speed on Charlie's Kids. Let's start with where you guys started with the book.
Sure. So we founded Charlie's Kids in 2011 after we lost our first son, Charlie, to accidental suffocation. And we share our story to prevent other families from experiencing this same grief that we have. I think we're most known in the safe sleep community for our book, Sleep Baby Safe and Snug, but we have some exciting new resources out there that I'm anxious to share with you today.
Yeah. So you started with the books. You can see we have the giant book there. That is not what people will get. That's our big book that you kindly gifted to us. But yeah, we love the book so much. Just how many books have you guys sold and donated over the years?
We're at almost 6 million copies in all 50 states. So just really shocked and humbled by the popularity of this and the way that it's working in all the communities and the way all of you are using it.
Yeah, it's such an incredible resource and super duper unique, like everything that you guys do. So from there, you guys thoughtfully expanded to your animated video series, right? So the board book and then the video series, which people will see scrolling here. So tell us how that came to be.
Yeah, so we realized that most moms are getting their information on social media, and we felt an obligation to put content out there that was accurate and meaningful to safe infant sleep. So we worked with an incredible group of moms in Queens Village in Cincinnati. They're at very high risk for these deaths. And they were awesome guiding us through this process. We talked to them about what topics we might need to cover. They picked the colors for the videos and the artist, and they even chose the person who did the voiceover. So it was a great collaboration with those moms, and we're really proud of those efforts and happy that people are still using them and sharing them 5 years later. So as you can see, these are in both English and Spanish and available for free to share and use and download on our website today.
Is it really 5 years?
Yeah.
Oh my God. We jumped right on that customization option. So those are in our video library. We share them on our own social media, and we've even embedded them in our presentations and our professional training modules. We love them, especially again, with that voice that speaks directly to moms and caregivers, that real part, the realistic expectations, real challenges, real solutions, real grace and kindness. And you guys just knock it out of the park. So let's talk about your newest work, which, like everything else, is free or very low cost. So let's start with the booklet and how that came to be. And I'm going to do this. This slide is up here about the gap, which I think helps talk about where it came from.
Yeah, for sure.
You can tell me to click forward, get that off. You can boss me out.
Will do. So we learned from Rachel Moon's latest study that parents really understand the ABCs of safe sleep, but they're not practicing it. So there's a big gap you can see in this graph between those knowledge and the actual practice. So what we're looking at isn't an information deficit, but instead kind of an implementation failure. So armed with this information and the knowledge of the changes with NICHD, we took it as an opportunity to try to look at safe sleep in a different way. You can go to the next slide. So there's a great psychologist out there called Jonathan Haidt, and he addresses human decision-making using this metaphor about the elephant and the rider. So the rider represents our rational mind. So we use this to plan, to use logic and reasoning when we make our decisions. But then that big giant elephant represents our emotional mind. So while the rider seems like they're in control, the elephant becomes stronger, is more impulsive, and essentially has more control over the decisions that are made. So I think previously in our safe sleep efforts, we've really focused on talking to the rider, and we thought that it might be interesting to message to the elephant. And we teamed up with an awesome group in Cincinnati called Live Well, who does human-centered design, to create this new booklet. And when we piece together our book and our booklet, we feel like we get to message to both the elephant and to the rider in that situation.
So tell us a bit about, did I go to the wrong slide?
No, you're good.
All right. So tell us about the booklet, because it does some different things, right? It's talking to the elephant, it's pulling it all together. So
Yeah, so working with Live Well, which is a human-centered design firm, they really go out there and they talk to moms and partners about what's needed and what's missing when it comes to informing people about safe sleep. And even we were surprised at what kind of came back and what they needed to hear. And in the end, we feel like we created something that really is all of these things: interactive and realistic and customizable and really empowering to help moms get through those really exhausting, really hard times of caring for a newborn.
So I'm going to click through some of the pages of the book. I
Yeah.
thought I had one here, but I think anyone that I took from one of the conferences where I saw you, I've given out. So I'm like, no. So here's the click through some of these pages and talk about sort of the elements of the book. You tell me when to click, and if you're like, just
I'd love for you to sit on the cover for just a minute. I love it because it doesn't come across as like preaching information or, you know, kind of a checklist that mom has to follow. But right away, I feel like it's an invitation for mom and a pact between mom and baby, where mom is really invited in to create this bond and this plan. So I love the way the cover starts. And you can kind of click through. I love so many of these pages, but I could probably go on, you know, for 30 or 40 minutes on each page. And I know we don't have that kind of time. So just kind of the highlights. You can see here that it really truly is interactive. There are places for mom to write. There's QR codes to scan that take you to our videos, and there's bookmarks that they can cut out. There's one to share, there's one to keep. So instead of preaching, we feel like this really acknowledges mom's emotions. It gives them some actionable advice and empowers them to find their own strength and really like gives them the confidence to ask for help and understand that they can't do this on their own. We do have an educator's guide available on our website in a PDF form that kind of gives you a background behind each one of the pages and how to have a conversation with mom as you introduce it to her. If you go back one page, I'm going to share some of my favorites. Do you, when we talk about favorites, we just did a survey for the people who got this hot off the press and just asked them what they liked about it. And this came out as the top page for our partners. They loved the way that it reinforced the 1, 2, 3s of safe sleep. They love that it connected mom's love to these decision makings. And I love this page too, but I love the page that is on the opposite side of it even more. So my favorite page, go maybe the other way.
Maybe we can pull it down.
Yeah, this one. This is my favorite page. Because I think we all could use reminders of just how strong we are and how capable we are. And I can't think of really anyone stronger than a new mom. But I also love the vulnerability on this page. I think being strong sometimes means that you need help and that you can understand that you need help and you can't do it alone, and knowing those limits. So I think this page really sums up creating that new norm for mom. It's a great start in having them see their own worth, but also know that they don't have to do it all. And that looks like being strong too.
Yeah. I mean, there's really what, you know, all the research that's coming out on mattress sense and how much our brain changes. And so we know we're strong. We know we're doing this, and we need that recognition and that support. And I do love, again, that kind of pact in this much different language than we've seen before. So, I mean, I've told you how much I love working with Charlie's Kids, because you guys never duplicate efforts. You're always developing a tool or a resource that nobody else in the safe sleep arena is doing, you know, from the iconic board book to the animated short videos, and now this new booklet, and there's more. And those are the videos that opened the webinar, right? That gave me all goosebumps.
Yes. And actually on this page, that QR code on the I'm Strong Enough page will take you right to the link for those mom pep talks. So I love that connection on that page too, is that mom knows she's strong enough, but she also can see that like these other moms are strong too, and that she's not alone in doing this.
Yeah. And sometimes that's all you need to know is I'm I'm not losing my mind. I'm not alone. There are other people who've gone through. There are places I can turn to for support. And so, real moms talking to real moms, here's kind of what they'll see when you go to the page, right? So tell us how these came about, these videos came about to complement that booklet.
Yeah, sure. I love these videos. And we actually got this idea from one of our board members. She talked about how lonely she was in the middle of the night, and her baby was fussy and she was exhausted, and she just felt helpless. And she kind of talked about how I wish there was someone that I could call to tell me to keep going. I wish I had a reminder that I wasn't alone. I wish I knew that somebody else had their light on too. So while I would love to field phone calls from moms across the United States at all hours of the day and tell them they've got this, I know I need my sleep too. So we thought putting them in these quick video forms where, moms can share with each other too. And just kind of changing the mentality of what it looks like to be a new mom of a newborn. I love that we can share these any time of the day, or mom can access these anytime and know that they're not alone, that they are strong, and that this stage isn't forever.
And right, it isn't forever. Safe sleep is not forever too. Like we just need to get through this short period of your child's life. I love too your videos, not just moms talking, but as I mentioned before, our grandparent brochure, because one of the struggles is, well, I did this for you, and that's who's helping you with your baby. And how do you like, no, wait, don't do that. So that you have a couple of, moms who are grandmas now and addressing that change and how they can support their daughter or daughter-in-law or whomever in their home. I love that.
Thanks. Yeah, I actually picked up today. I've seen that video, several times and watched it get filmed, but that grandma even says SIDS, and I know in our community we're trying to go away from that language, but for grandmas that is what they say. And I think, for that community, changing that language or using that same language that they thought was, something that just happened randomly, to her saying like, know better, do better, is, I thought that was kind of neat. I picked up on that for the first time today, that she used the word SIDS.
Yeah, we continue to use the word SIDS, right? Because again, it gets people's attention. It's the same thing that I do to prevent suffocation. Accidental suffocation is also going to reduce SIDS risk. Let's go with that. We're fine with that. Anything that something is going to land with somebody, something's going to stick. All of the things that we say, something's going to stick. So yeah,
Hopefully.
we agree with you. So I think it's super impactful hearing from these women. I love the one mom addressing her partner, her spouse. Like, he doesn't know until I tell him, and he's never done this before either. So it's not just you, right? You have other people that you can reach out to, and you need to ask for help. And I think that's all just super powerful messages that people need to hear. So thank you for creating yet again. Yay. So how can people or agencies access your resources?
Yeah, I mean, the great news is that most of our materials are free. So any of those animated videos or Mom Pep Talk videos are on our website right now, and you can download and use those for free. If you want to customize the animated videos, shoot us an email and we'll get your logo on there, just like Cribs for Kids does. We also have an ordering page on our website where you can order the books and also the brand new booklets. If you haven't already, we are giving out your first 200 booklets for free, and that is not going to last too much longer. So please, I think we're looking towards the end of April at changing that quantity. So if you haven't gotten them, get on our website and order them today. Some people have seen that it comes up, and this is written on our website, but just like a little glitch, it'll say $20, but we're not going to charge you. Don't be alarmed if you see that. You're not going to be charged for your first 200. And also big news, our Spanish booklet is in its final review and is going to the printer soon. So those of you who've been waiting for the Spanish, it is coming, I promise.
Yeah, that's great. I think that after today, you might be cleared out of everything. We have about
I'm okay with that. Bring it on.
It might be like, oh, hang on, and off they go. And yeah,
I know. I keep getting updates from from how much we have in the warehouse, and I think we're down to 23,000. So definitely, I mean, we're reprinting, don't worry, but definitely get your orders in.
Get on your phone or open your second screen now.
Yep. Don't be a back order. Yep.
Yeah, that's great. Really great. And yeah, the Spanish coming in soon. I don't know that people often realize that when we create an education piece or a training piece, and then we put it in another language, it leads to all new graphic layout, right? It's not just like you plop the words in there. So it's not only just reviewing for content, but getting the layout done. So it always takes a little longer than people.
Yes, and the way that we're speaking in this booklet, it's been a very delicate translation to make sure that it's coming across for their culture too. So
I bet.
we spent a lot of time on it. Yeah.
That's great news.
It's coming.
So since we're doing real talk, right, and talking about challenges to infant safe sleep and the number of babies we continue to lose, we know people don't really realize the risk of this and how preventable it is, but we lose more babies. Everybody knows who hears me talk about this in that first year of life than we lose to all of our children up to the age of 18 in those car accidents. More often than people know, so preventable. So when you think about what you'd like to see happen, what real solution would you like to see, like short term and like long term?
Sure. That makes it easier. There's a lot of long-term solutions I'd like to see. But as you can see on this slide, there's a lot of resources available. But our biggest resource and our greatest asset at Charlie's Kids is really all of you. So when I think about how to move the needle right now, I think about what each one of you can do today to make a difference. So when you walk away from this meeting, what action are you going to take? Text a mom a new pep talk, post one of our animated videos on your social, share Charlie's story with someone you know, go offer to hold your neighbor's baby so she can get that shower, or just even something as simple as smiling at a new mom in the store and tell her she's doing a great job. And you remember how hard it is. Go order your free booklets. But I think there's something out there that each one of us can take away from today and put into action. And I think the more each one of us does that every day, the bigger change we're really going to see. You guys truly are out there saving lives, and I'm really truly grateful for the work that all of you are doing, boots on the ground. Long term, I wish that this incredible team of all of us that are so passionate could get out there and just really amplify this message across communities and cultures and ages in a way that was like really heard and seen, so that new moms understand the information and the why behind it, that they feel supported in their exhaustion and in the hard. I'd love for safe sleep to be as routine as putting your baby in a car seat every time you drive.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah. When you said, when you see a new mom, I do like, I every time I see a new mom, I'm like, congratulations. How are you feeling? They always look at me, first of all, like, why is this old woman talking to me? But, and I usually like, oh my gosh, baby's adorable and you look fabulous. And I did it just the other day and the woman's like, well, I'm the aunt, and she was carrying the baby, and I'm like, oh, all right, well, still, you still look good. But hearing you talk about that too, like go share this, and that as we see new moms out, and provided that people aren't like stepping away when they see me, I'm wondering, Andrea's back, they're probably going to go, no. Like if we had just like little business cards printed so that we see a new mom and it has the QR code for your pep talks, it has, QR codes or links to social media, accounts that do positive work like Dani's, or links to our Safe Sleep Academy. Like, hey, in case you might not need this now, but you might know somebody who does soon, and just hand them something and gets shoved in the diaper bag, but in the thick of it, looking for the stuff for the blowout that the one mom mentioned, maybe they find it and it's there. So
I love that idea. I mean, I'm all for like getting this message out any way we can. At one point, we even had talked about like getting QR codes on the grocery store floor where in the baby aisle, like, wouldn't it be great if when they clicked that, it didn't lead to like a product or a coupon? It was just like, hey, you're doing a great job. Like, keep at it. I've been there before. But I think the more that moms can feel seen and know that this is normal, and the more that they can take care of themselves, and they'll be able to take care of baby.
Right. We can't expect mom to take care of baby safely if we aren't helping mom. Right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Maura. I know people.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
A thumbs up back there. I mean, I hope you see like it's just such positive reaction. And
Aww. Thank you.
So now we're going to talk with Dani. Another great presence on social media like Jen Hamilton. Dani, thank you so much for joining us. Your path to this work, like Maura's, came through from losing your son Deacon. We'd love to give you an opportunity to talk a bit about that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And Maura, it's just an honor to be on this call with you. I think some of the best safety advocates for change are those whose advocacy stems from grief. We go at this full force, and in your work, I could really see like your empathy and your understanding, and I just love it. I was like in tears kind of when you were talking, just to see how much that you've done, and it's just amazing. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Dani Morin. I am a child safety advocate on social media. And this stemmed from my loss. I lost my son Deacon in 2016 to a dangerous baby product at a negligent daycare. And it shook my entire world. I really didn't know what to do except try to stop what happened to me from happening to any other parent. Now, he was wearing a Baltic amber teething necklace. I realized after the fact that I was bamboozled by deceptive and dangerous marketing tactics, which we still see today. And I was trying to get on the news, get in Parenting Magazine. I was trying to do all of these things to kind of get my story across and research your childcare. I started working with Childcare Wear of America. And for some of you guys that know Shana Raphael, another safety advocate, she's one of my dear friends. She came to my wedding, and her and I really hit it off with some of our work with Childcare Wear of America. And I still was not feeling like I was being heard. And I'm trying to scream my story from the rooftops. And it was only going so far, even though I was on the news and I was doing these things. And in 2020, TikTok came out, and it's, short form content. And I started sharing my story, and I was very heavily into the teething necklaces. Like, this is what we know with the teething necklaces, is that unless your child's temperature is 392 degrees, would any of those supposed healing properties even present themselves? And I'm trying to give facts and evidence based. And I realized that, one video, I would get 1 million views. And I mean, this was 800 times more than I was getting with all of my other work combined, and magazines and online and Facebook and all of these things. And I'm like, okay, well, my son lost his life in this way, but like, what are the big ways that like babies are losing their life? And then that's kind of when I started talking about safe sleep. And I had to do a lot of research too, right? Like how do I present this online to people? And it took a lot of figuring out the best way to go about how to advocate online, because a grieving mother, you get people commenting back, and I want to be like, but you don't understand. And it's really having to put yourself in their shoes. And this took me years to figure out. And, you deliver it by saying like, I love this. I love that we're talking about this. Here's the meat and potatoes and what you should know, followed by a compliment. And so, I've been perfecting the way that I've done some advocacy, but I started getting a lot of questions on car seats. And I just felt like it was a little bit out of my scope to speak on car seats because I was not certified. So I did go spend a week away from my family, becoming a CPST. And that's been the biggest blessing, because I realized that I do a lot of my advocacy on the screen, and that's reaching the most people, I'll be honest, is on the screen talking to moms, but I don't ever get to talk. They're not talking back to me. And when I became a CPST, our coalition, we Safe Kids Coalition, we do a lot of events. Sometimes it's on drowning prevention. Sometimes it's on booster seats. We have a lot of checkup events where parents will come in, and I get so much out of that, getting to talk to moms one-on-one, like boots on the ground, right? Not online, but really in person with parents. And it's been amazing. So I then reached out we have in our community, it's called the New Mom School, and moms go to this school for 10 weeks, and there's different things that they learn each week. So one might be speaking to a marriage family therapist about what your marriage looks like after baby comes and how to navigate that. And then they also have a safety class, and I became the instructor for the baby safety class, where we talk about baby proofing, car seats, safe sleep, what's allowed in, on, or around the crib and what's not, and all of the things. And again, I'm in a little circle with 10 to 12 moms a couple times a month, and I get to hear what their struggles are. And every time I can hear what a parent's struggles are, it just helps me know how I'm going to present my next video. And sometimes I will throw things out there, crazy things out there, like, wouldn't it be crazy if we did this to help parents help their babies learn a foundation for sleep? And then everyone has their thoughts, and it just helps me, like, okay, well, this is where we're going to start, and this is how I'm going to form the next video. And I've been able to make videos alongside some other great advocates, Jen Hamilton being one of them. I think her and I got on social media around the same time. And I mean, she is just a pillar on that side of the internet, and a great work that she's doing. I really have learned a lot from her. So that's a little bit about me. And I am so honored that you're asking me to speak in front of these people. You're naming off all the people in here, and I'm looking at the chat, and I'm like sweating in my pajamas, because I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, I'll just like not look over there.
No, are you kidding me? It's not like the million that you get out there at the talk, but you said so much in there. I want to circle back with, when you talk about your son, and because you went down this, because you had a couple of paths, right? It took you down the product path, and then it also took you down the childcare path. And then that product path took you down that safety path, where you learned, probably like I did, and went, what? That there's no safe to market requirement for manufacturers in this country. I could put out the craziest thing and try and what these parents who buy these things are doing it to do the best for their baby. Nobody is buying these products that haven't been tested, or things that were sort of being, as you said, bamboozled. And then it also, makes everybody question when there's places that do a good job, like Cribs for Kids. We will say, our products that we put out are tested and designed and safe for baby use, right? But how, when we talk about things like weighted blankets, and I think that's actually where I first encountered you, this big, right, on an ASTM call, talking about the wearable blankets, and as you were expecting your twins. So I know you've worked with our program advisory member Courtney Griffin, and certainly worked with Shayna Rayfield, like all big fans. I didn't know Shayna was at your wedding. That's so fun.
Yeah, we're good friends. Well, I think you bring up such a great point when you talk about, like, parents are just trying to do what's best for their child, and what's happening is they're wondering what's best for their child, and when they make that decision, they kind of run with it, and the internet could steer you in different ways, as we'll probably get into. I just love that you brought that up, because I think for me, when I go back to my loss with the teething necklace, I thought, like, a teething necklace, that's got to be a lot better than Tylenol. Like, I mean, I didn't even know what the AAP was back in 2015. Like, it's not like that was popping up on my Google search or anything like that. It still doesn't. When you type in a topic, the AAP information is like 3 pages down, right? Because a lot of people are sponsoring things against it, like the weighted sleep bags, which I'm like very against, and I speak about that openly. I don't understand how they're still out there. I know that Dreamland has been given warning after warning from the commissioner, the CPSC commissioner. There's been a lot of warnings they've been getting, and they do have a non-weighted sleep bag, but for whatever reason, they're still honing in on, like, the marketing of your baby's going to sleep 10 to 12 hours. Well, we actually don't want that. Dr. Moon talks a lot about arousability, and so we actually don't want that. But, a vulnerable mom who has not slept in 5 days and doesn't know if there's a light at the end of this tunnel, you have that ad come across your desk or your phone 3-4 times that day. It's like, well, I'll try anything at this point.
Buy now.
Yes. And so we get bamboozled by these marketing tactics, and they actually, as a creator, so how it works is brands will send out briefs to creators and say, we're looking for content. This is what we want you to say in the video. These are the mandatory talking points, and then here are some other talking points. In Dreamland's, one of their mandatory talking points is you must say that this is going to help your baby sleep 10 to 12 hours in a night. And it's a mandatory talking point. So whether that's been your experience or not, if you want to get paid for that video, you have to say that. And I think it's completely dangerous. And then we have, when we're talking about baby products, especially sleep products, I've done a lot on, we have recently new standards for wearable sleep products. And there's some gray areas still. Like, I think they're still like ironing it out. A lot of it has to do with like the neckline and making sure that that it can't come up above the nose. And so I ordered, God, maybe 10 to 15 sleep sacks, sleep bags off of Amazon. The most popular ones that parents are getting that are, you know, $15, $20, where the ones that are made and sold in America that are following these new standards, they're maybe $50, $60. And so I ordered them all, and I was trying to show parents like how, you know, they don't care about these standards. And we can't really go after them because they're from overseas. But let me show you the difference of some of these necklines and some of these things that are these new standards and how they're not passing those. And I think what happens too is a lot of parents are ordering items on Amazon, and they'll type in, let's say, sleep bag. Maybe they type in Kite Baby sleep bag, or, you know, popular sleep bag. And what's popping up is the sponsored ones automatically that look very similar. So a parent will accidentally order, and we see this all the time with baby carriers. So someone might type in baby Bjorn or something like that. And what's popping up is this overseas one that kind of looks similar, but maybe the buckles aren't safe, or they don't have the safety straps, and but they look so similar, and they're like, oh, must be on sale. So I always tell parents, we see this with the knockoff car seats, which is, oh my gosh, like that'll send me for one.
Yeah.
So same thing where parents are accidentally clicking on these thinking that they're the products because they're paying to be up at the top when you type things in on Amazon. So I try to do a lot of advocacy on like sharing with parents, like when you're purchasing, you got to make sure in the left-hand corner it says the actual brand store and not something like, you know, whatever manufacturer from some random brand. Like, you got to verify that, because it's really easy. And it happened to me with a sound machine. I thought I was buying a Hatch sound machine at, of course, 3 a.m. in the morning when my twins were first week they were born. I need a new sound machine. Yeah, I'm nursing my babies, and I'm like, I need a better sound machine. I'm on Amazon. I type in Hatch sound machine. It's this little portable one. And it got to my house, and it was like not in a branded box. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Okay. I don't know, whatever. I open it up, and I'm like, I feel like something's off here, until I turned the sounds off, and they were not sounds of Hatch. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I went back to my Amazon. I was like, I was bamboozled myself. Everything I teach parents, like, it happened to me. Now, a sound machine and a dangerous sleep product, it's two different things, but you know, it does happen. So it's, you know, we really got to like help parents. And I'm hoping to talk to, I just got connected with somebody, her name's Angela from Amazon, and she's dealing with like some of the safety stuff and how can we avoid some of these things from happening.
That's great. Yeah,
so
I mean, you do such an amazing job reaching people with your posts, because we talk about, I mentioned early on about the, you know, the misinformation that's out there on social media, but I hope that we have enough time for you to talk about how we can affect that. And I don't know if people follow you, they've probably seen your post about the store not decor program, but I love that. It's such a great example, and hopefully a path we can go down with Infant Safe Sleep to correct all this misinformation about sleep in infants out there. Can you share what that was?
And I don't know if Laura Kirshner is on this call. She wrote an article actually on this topic of dangerous imagery. And I think that it does include videos. And I spoke to her in length. She does just a wonderful job. Yeah. What an amazing journalist.
Here at our conference, we're excited. Sorry,
Yeah, no, you're fine. I know those lights, it gets hot in there. So she wrote an article, which I really think kind of like opened this can of worms of like dangerous imagery and the videos that we're seeing. And I do want to kind of shed some light on how the algorithm works. And right now we see the pendulum swing of parents being super evidence-based, right? Like safe parents, safe parenting, evidence-based, what is AAP saying? And then sometimes it swings this other way of like, moms are their own doctors, moms know best, experience over evidence. And right now we're kind of like a little bit, the pendulum has swung in a direction that I'm not too fond of. And basically how that happens is, let's say a mom is watching a video, and I'll just do the bed sharing versus like safe sleep, and is watching a video, and somebody maybe like me who has great media training, been making videos on social media for 5-10 years, comes on and says, I'm going to tell you why I bed share. And it's because this, and statistics showed this, and other countries this, and these are the stats, and you're going to bond with your baby. And if you don't, you're bad attachment. And they're saying all this stuff. And if a mom watches that video all the way through, the algorithm is going to show 5 more videos exactly like that. And that's going to affirm that mom's. And so now that mom's like, well, all I'm seeing is that this is the best option. And so if that's the best option, that's what I'm going to do. And they have made up their mind. We see it with politics. We see it with all sorts of things, right? And now then we have our experts. We have our Shayna's, which she's got a full career. We have our Dr. Freehesses. We have our pediatricians and our advocates who also are pediatricians and advocates. They have full-on lives. They're not full-time content creators. So their volume of videos is going to be a lot less than these professional content creators that are putting out this misinformation. And so we don't have enough of those videos getting filtered in so that this mom might also see a video from a pediatrician who's saying, wait, no, like this is actually what the evidence is saying. And I try every week to put out stuff also into, especially with the weighted sleep bags or the discontinued loungers and all of those things. But we don't have enough of those videos combating this misinformation. And what I was telling Laura when she was writing that article is like, how you fight misinformation videos is with the correct video. And you got to fight video for video. And sometimes that does take an investment, right? Because you have to take professional content creators to get that point across. So for instance, this is how I would make a video. 10 babies. I would start like this. 10 babies. 10 babies die every day due to unsafe. I would say something like that's going to catch your attention. But if an organization or somebody that doesn't do this for a living, they come on and they're going to be like, okay, you guys, I think today is going to be a great day that we just really talk about some safe sleep and safe sleep tactics and what's really going on. You lost them. Where I had them at 10 babies die, and you got to say the things that are going to trigger an organization or someone that's just making a videos like today, we're like kind of as if we're on a webinar, and you're going to lose them. They're not going to listen to it because the person that made the misinformation is, if you don't bed share, you're going to have bad attachment with your baby. That's how they're starting the video. So you have to combat those videos the same way as the misinformed videos, right? So whatever worked for them, you got to do the same thing in the opposite and to fight that. So a great example of this is the American Cleaning Institute. So a couple of years ago, I don't know if you guys remember, but a bunch of influencers started posting these Amazon links of these glass jars, and they were making their laundry rooms like aesthetically pleasing, and they were taking their Tide Pods and they were putting them in these glass jars. And we had all these issues with like kids getting a hold of Tide Pods and they're putting them in their mouths. And of course, the engineering team at Tide is like, we spent millions of dollars and years coming up with that big orange pumpkin looking Tide container for these influencers to come out and pour the Tide Pods in these glass jars. And now kids are getting, like, for safety, we spent all this money to do it for safety. And now they're just undoing that. And the American Cleaning Institution is like, oh my God, like, what are we going to do? So they invested a ton of money in a ton of different influencers. And they said, we're starting a campaign. It's called the Store Not Decor campaign. And we need you guys to just flood the internet, because we got to fight these bad videos with why we don't do that. And guess what? It worked. So their investment to fight those videos, it worked. And so now everyone, we talked about put your chemicals up away from kids. We talked about using the container appropriately. Store not decor. Don't put them in the glass jars. Like, why are we doing that? And it worked. So it's proven to work if, like, organizations and companies like it, when they want to do this to fight this misinformation, it does work. So I found that like super interesting. And that's my whole purpose on social media is to fight that misinformation with correct information. And I get all that from you guys, which is great. I only get this information from you guys, and then I put it into a video.
Yeah, I love it. Your videos you did, but I know we're gonna run tight on. We'll probably be like 5 minutes over, maybe, if everybody wants to hang out. But I do want people to hear one of my favorite videos that I saw that you did was when you gave the analogy of using infant safe sleep like an allergy. Can you share that kind of,
Wait, say that one more time?
As an allergy, like pretend that your baby is allergic.
Allergic. Yes. Yes. So that, oh my gosh, I can't believe you remember that. So, I have babies that when they were born, they had CPMA, which is cow's milk protein allergy. So I wouldn't even think twice about, because I'm a breastfeeding mom, about drinking milk. I wouldn't think twice about drinking milk because I would not want something to happen to my babies, knowing that that's how they get their nourishment. Like I wouldn't even think twice. It would just be like, absolutely not, my babies are allergic. So the same goes for me is safe sleep. It's just like, oh, it's not even something that I think about of anything other than putting them down alone on their back in a crib. Like it's not something I think about. Like they are allergic to any other way of sleep, right? Now I will say, as a twin mom, I don't get I'm struggling with the sleep, right? So the twins wake up about 4 times each separately at different times. So I'm like, I run on 3 hours every day. But we're working it out. And I think one thing that Maura brought up is, and I was thinking, like with lactation consultants, you see a lactation consultant sometimes before you have your baby. And so you can get a game plan. Then you see them after you have your baby so that you could perfect that. I really love the idea of having someone help moms learn the safe sleep and a great foundation for sleep and maybe some of those sleep skills ahead of time. And part of that ahead of time would be warning them like, hey, there's gonna be nights you're not getting sleep. Get that in your head now that there are gonna be some nights that you're not getting sleep.
Setting reasonable expectations.
But they're not gonna go to kindergarten waking up every hour. Like I could promise you that. It does eventually end. You know what I mean? And so I think it's just like preparing parents ahead of time. Like when there's going to be times you're not going to get some sleep, but it's not going to last forever. And just preparing them ahead of time. And then like, I would love, and this is a whole other call we could have, but I would love to see just as the Affordable Care Act helps cover lactation consultants for parents, you get 6 a year. I would love to see that with certified sleep people that are helping parents build that sleep foundation and those sleep skills. I would love that to be covered. So one day, like that would be a dream for me. That's a whole other call.
Right.
But I would love to see
kind
that.
Of like your magic wand moment, right?
And I always like throw that stuff out on social media to just see like, hey, what are people saying about it? What do they, when I throw this idea out, what do people have to say? And a lot of parents in the comments are saying, I bed share and it's not something I want to do. I haven't figured out how not to. And they just need some guidance. You know what I mean? So the idea is there. And I mean, if anyone can make anything happen, it's you, Devin.
No, we've got Cribs for Kids, Safe Kids Worldwide, baby safety, influencers, and product experts and advocates like you and Charlie's Kids. Like we've got the team. And I think that talking about fighting the misinformation with videos, creating some other tools, like there's a path we can go. So it's not 10 a day, right? So it's not 10 a day. Yeah. It's all we've got some work to do. And I'm glad everybody's here for it. So I think I cannot thank you and Maura enough for taking time. Dani is in a hotel room at a Mom 2.0 conference in Austin. We didn't even get a chance to talk about that, but go ahead and check out that as an amazing place where moms go to learn how to share safe information and support work that they're doing to keep our babies and kiddos safe on social media. But thank you so much, Dani and Maura. I'm going to remind you, for those of you that are here live, to get those questions in the Q&A as we wrap up. I just love talking with you guys. I think this has been a great hour. We can't see as much of your PJs as people can see of mine, but you guys have them on there, right? Look at that. Yay for PJs. So we'll harken back to this next year when we're doing it again on another April 16th. So get your Q&As in there. It is an absolute privilege to work with the selfless moms like you guys on our shared mission. So let's see where we are. So if you've joined us before, you know, Maura, you talked about what are you going to do today? What are you going to do today? And that's how we end every webinar. We end every webinar with 3 things: a call to action, register for the next one, and our Safe Sleep Lullaby, Just Baby. So this webinar we've talked about so much. Choose your own adventure with what you're going to do, because there are a few. Check out our new education pieces. Be sure that you look for our What's New Wednesday social post. Register for our conference or submit an abstract. You can do all of that by going to cribsforkids.org. We want you to visit Charlie's Kids to check out their new booklet. I hope you're not too late already to order your 200 just in this time. Check out their new video series, get their animated video series for you guys, and please go follow Dani and see what she has to say. You're not going to be disappointed. You're going to fall in love with Jen Hamilton. You're going to fall in love with Dani if you didn't already. Everybody doing good work for all of our babies, so stay in that loop. Next is our summer webinar, which is scheduled for Thursday, July 23rd. It's later than we planned because we're going to be at NACCHO in Louisville, happily presenting and exhibiting. I don't know if any of you guys will be there. So this summer's webinar is going to feature collaboration, both what goes on in our headquarters here, how things get from our warehouse to your house, and have you meet some of the people that do that work here. We haven't talked with them, so we want to be sure you know how fabulous they are. And then we're going to release our 6th and final professional training series module, this one for doulas. We're going to have our new cribette and mini cribette model that has a zip-in bassinet that you don't have to take in and out. That's another exciting development for us. The webinar registration is going to be up later today. We're going to be talking with an amazing coroner in Kentucky about some work that she did with a documentary she made called Meant to Be Close. So that's a little sneak peek on that one. So remember, you're going to want to go to cribsforkids.org, click on education. You'll see our webinar link to get that on your calendar. Even if you're like, I don't know what I'm doing July 23rd, just register, because you're going to get that email that when it's ready to be uploaded for you to watch. Okay, finally. Look, we're just like 2 minutes off now. And finally, Just Baby, a Safe Sleep Lullaby. Like our other Safe Sleep resources, it's free. Thanks to partner purchases that all of you make of our Safe Sleep products. So as you click through our partner resource portal, you'll find our free tools like the ones we talked about today to reduce suffocation and SIDS. Thank you again for everybody who played along wearing your PJs. My coworkers, Andrea, Kelly, and Shayla, our champion guests, Maura and Dani. Thank you so much for joining us and playing along. And all of the folks that are out there that we're seeing who are wearing PJs today. We'll see you next April 16th with the same PJ day. And thank you to those of you who are watching live or watching later, because it's that time and commitment that you share with us is how one day every baby is going to wake from every sleep. I'd love to be out of a job. So last chance for questions in the Q&A. Look for an email in a week or so with all the questions and answers and the link to the webinar that you upload. Join us in Pittsburgh for our conference this fall, and Jen Hamilton and more. Thanks, everybody.
Pillows, blankets, bassinet or play our naps. No pillows, blankets, no toys, just baby.